Cody! It's Wednesday. It's my favorite day of the week because it's podcast day. How's it going, man? I'm not gonna introduce
It's
you. You've been
going.
on the show like this is your third time already. You're
Yes.
you're the one. You're one of the few I text who's like, yeah, come on this day, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah, I get like the 2 week notice, and I'm like, you know what? I think I can make that work, and
Yeah,
I make it work.
you suit up and you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here for it. So,
How's
how
it
are you
going, man?
doing?
How have you been? Oh, whoa, throwing it back at me. I'm good. I'm good. You know what? When we talked about this last time you were on, man, I'm doing this at like a pretty steady clip. This is episode 13 in the 12th week, which is kind of crazy, right? To have this level of consistency already. The 12 episodes, that's 12 weeks, that's 3 months, right? Give or take.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty steady, like almost weekly. So I'm pretty happy. Like I'm enjoying this. The process of like editing video and audio has been pretty fun for me. It's like a fun new project to work on. And yeah, I'm glad. You told me something that kind of like affected me, and I always like look back to that. Like you said that this is now part of your pod rotation. Is that still true?
That is still true. It is an automatic download on my Spotify. And then so I like to watch it first on YouTube. Because then that way I watch it and I listen, but I'm also playing a game at the same time. It's that podcast mentality that I have. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I drive a lot, so when I'm driving, I throw it on when I'm driving as well. So I end up listening to it twice.
Hell yeah.
But I think the second time around I get a lot more out of it because I'm paying 100%. Well, probably like 80% paying attention to it while I drive. But
I think that's the sort of best. So driving, and it's funny you notice that. Yeah, for me, I used to have longer commutes, so I would get way more podcast listening done. So, like 2 or 3 years ago, I would load up on like that was like peak me like listening. So I was like listening to WTF, right, like a year or two before it ended. I was listening to This Is Important, the Workaholics guys, like their podcast, and then I listened to a
Mhm.
bunch of other basketball podcasts in between, and cycle through all those because I had like a 45-minute to an hour long commute. I don't have that commute anymore, so all my podcasting sort of like habits are either done at the gym, so I go really early in the morning and I'm like, all right, I have an hour. Let me blow through an episode, right?
Mhm.
Or during my lunch break at work if I don't feel like being social, and then occasionally playing video games, which I'll talk about in a bit, as part of like my routine. So yeah, it is funny how isn't it funny like podcasts in general, like you and I, like they're so ingrained not only in our like creatively, we've done a bunch, and then also we just listen to a bunch too. Isn't that
Yeah.
funny?
I mean, I can't. It'd be so hard for me to get through my day, especially now because I drive. I drive way more than I ever have. I mean, I'm minimum driving, 2 to 3 hours a day, and then sometimes it's even more than that. So I am in the car a lot, and then when I'm doing my work, I have an earbud in the entire time too. So I'm at the point of like, I I had an insane amount of podcasts I used to listen to, and then I dialed it all back because I wasn't able to listen to podcasts as much. And now I'm like, I have to go and find more podcasts because I'm re-listening to older podcasts now, and I'm like, I need to find something new, man.
My current rotation is like, I have two the again stopped doing video game podcasts. I have like a list of them downloaded, but it's like I haven't had a chance to like sit down and listen to them because my new thing is like, what is it, here in Miami every day? There's a live radio show, sports radio, right? Famous Miami host Dan Lebitard, he does one every day, right? And they have like an episode every day. It's like a 3 hour long radio show, but they cut it up into 3 hour long chunks in podcast form. So that's my days now are catching up with either the podcast the day of if I'm off, or the day before his podcast in the morning before like the new episode runs. So I have stuff
Oh, crazy.
constantly on a loop, right? Like that's what I've been doing. Or I'll watch like the video, like the live stream, the archived live stream on an iPad while playing video games. But yeah, it's just funny how like yeah I can't get through like any without listening to something. It's the
Yeah,
funniest thing.
I tried doing audiobooks, but like it's hard when you if I don't like the narrator, I'm so out of it. So that one's very hit or miss when it comes to audiobooks. But podcasts always seem to be an easy one to just keep it rolling. So
Anyway, let's stop talking about podcasts and do a podcast.
sounds good to me.
Let's actually record a podcast, which is what we're doing. It's been a while since you've been on, so what have you been up to?
Nothing too crazy, honestly. I started Alan Wake 2 again. I basically just started it all over again, and I'm starting to play through that, but I haven't made enough of a like headway to talk too much more on it yet. But I'm finally like, this is the game that I waited so long for, and then I I stopped. I didn't play it. I
You're a
don't know why.
big Remedy guy, right? Like, isn't like
I am.
You talk. Mm-hmm.
I love Alan Wake. I love Control.
That game. I played it I played through all of it the month before Alan Wake 2 came out, just out of the blue because it was like in my library from PS Plus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, let me play through it. I'm in like a story game mood, and I heard short. Ended up loving that game. I like that game a lot in spite of its gameplay being very, very dated. Even that remaster was super like hard to get through at times. But the story and the atmosphere and the vibe, oh my god, incredible.
It's so
like
good.
So much. And then I bought Alan Wake 2 around when it came out, and I got like a few hours in, but then something happened and I just kind of stopped, and I felt bad because I'm like, oh, I was really enjoying a lot about it. They really amped up everything, but yeah, I didn't end up finishing it. Those are the only two Remedy games I ever played. Haven't played Control, what is the other one? Quantum
Break.
Is that or yep. I never played the original Max Payne games, or the only ones I played are Alan Wake 1 and then half or like a third of Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, Remedy does some solid stuff. Just going back to Max Payne, like those games, the atmosphere is like what really gets that game going. But Alan Wake is great. Control is great. Quantum Break is such a slept-on game. That game is incredible. I love
that game.
Quantum
Break. A TV show,
so
basically, good. Right? Like that's like they're like really building like this whole thing in that one, right?
Yeah,
like, and they have like the cutscenes and everything.
They have the cutscenes. They have the choices that affect those cutscenes. So they have different versions of those episodes, and the episodes are like 30-minute episodes. So you're like playing the game, and you're making choices and stuff like that, and then you get a whole episode of something. And it's just like, I loved it. I played that game straight through in like 2 days, and I was so into it. And yeah, it's so good. And I'm trying to get through Alan Wake 2. I'm not in a bad way, but like I want to play Alan Wake 2 and get through it so that when Control Resonant comes out, I am like ready for that, because I don't know if there's any like huge connections between any of that stuff, but Control and Alan Wake did, so
yeah, you want to get ahead of it. You want to get ahead of all that. That's funny.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's I'm working on that. Pragmata just came out too, which I started playing that game, and it is a ton of fun. It is very like almost reminds me a lot of Remember Me in some aspects in terms of like the arcadey style game stuff. Like it's almost a little puzzly in the middle of combat, which I wasn't 100% sure on, but it's not super difficult, and I like it so far. But that I'm probably like 2 hours into. But my main game that I've been playing a lot of was Hades 2.
You texted me about this.
Yes, it came to Game Pass, and I liked the first one. I liked the first one a lot. But I never beat it. Never got to like the end game stuff or whatever. But with Hades 2, I actually did end up beating the big bad. But that's not the end of the game, because you don't actually end up beating him. You have to just you have to keep going through it over and over again, and it builds upon the story of that. Because you're fighting Kronos, who is the Titan of Time. He controls time. So even if you defeat him, he just rewinds time back to before you beat him, basically. Um, but eventually, I believe you get to the point of like stopping from any of it happening in the past, because there's connections to the first game at this point. Uh, but yeah, I've been really enjoying that. It feels, I don't know, a lot easier for me than the other game, but I'm not sure why, because a lot of people that I've read, they're like, Hades 2 is a lot harder than Hades 1. I'm like, damn, dude, because I am in sync in Hades 2, dude. Like, but Hades 1, I can never get any shit down, but Hades 2, I'm doing great. So I'm not sure, but um, yeah, that's a great podcast game for me personally.
I have the first game. I never finished it. No, I think I think I played like 10 minutes of it just out of like, and I talked to you about it. I've been into roguelikes, like and run based games and survivor likes too in general, and also
Right.
like dungeon crawlers, ARPGs, hack and slot, like those kinds of games, right? Where it's about the combat, it's about build crafting, it's about like, loot, it's about a million different things, like sort of like all that synergy, right? And for some reason, I just haven't sat down with Hades. I have it on two platforms. I have it on PS5 and Switch. I just wish there was cross save because I feel like that game would benefit from like jumping back and forth. Hades 2, I want to play it because on Switch, I think it runs at 120 FPS on Switch 2,
Yeah, it's
which to me
it's
it's like,
definitely optimized for handheld. I almost got it on my Steam Deck, but it came to Game Pass, and I was just like, you know what? I'll just play it on my Xbox. Pretty
free game.
easy.
I gotta
Yeah,
play it. I gotta
exactly.
play it because again, I've been in that. I love run based games. I love like getting better every time. Like, I do something. I like that idea of like I like the story stuff where it's like you're progressing both in like a gameplay sense and in like a narrative sense. Like, Hades is about working towards like a goal, right? And I like that idea that I'm doing it too in a weird way. I mean, I told you already. I've been like yapping about like how many roguelikes, survivor likes, and like things have I been playing this year so far. It's like it seems to be like a common thing, and Hades seems like the ultimate. Yes, this is the game I would enjoy at this moment. I don't know why I haven't sat down with it yet.
Yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. That first Hades game, this playing Hades 2 makes me want to go back to Hades 1. But granted, I think I had Hades 1 on the Switch as well, and I was like, I can't, like, I don't know why, but like the game is almost too hectic for me to play handheld. I, d- I don't know, but
I get it. I get it.
that's just, yeah.
That's part of the reason why too. It's like I play video games on a monitor now, so there's almost no
Hmm.
reason for me to do anything handheld because I already have a screen up close to my face that's like pretty easy to read, right?
Right.
So it's like, going
Yep.
back to the Switch sometimes it's hard. The only benefit to like the Switch 2 is that it's like obviously a handheld. I can play it in bed, and also the screen is like really big and bright. Like, so I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'll get around
Right.
to it.
Yeah.
I'll get around to it at some point. All right, what else have you been up to?
Um, I'm still working on the Gears of War book. It's the last
Hell
like
yeah.
main book. I'm still. It's harder because I have it as a physical copy, and I feel like I have such a hard time, like when I'm at home picking up that book and sitting down and reading it. Whereas like whenever I read like digitally on my Kindle or something like that, I don't know why it's so much easier to just do it digitally. I don't know. And even the Gears, this book is right next to my bed, and every night I'm like, I can read another chapter of that, or I can read a comic book on my Kindle. And I'm like, well, you know what? Kindle it is, So I'm working on it.
You're that's funny.
I put a little bit more time into it, but yeah, that's one of those ones that's just kind it's there, and it's not forgotten. I'm still going for it. So
Karen Travis, like kind of the goat as far as like writing about these different like universes or games or movies and stuff. Like, I read her Republic Commando novel, her first Republic Commando novel, the Star Wars book, loved it. Like it's such
yeah.
a great military like novel. I love how much she hates the Jedi in that book. I love how much she respects and reveres like the Mandalorians in that book. Like you could tell, like, oh yeah, I'm sure nerds were mad when this came out. Like it's such a good
Yeah.
book. She has some Halo book, a few Halo books or one Halo book. I own one of them. that's cool. I'm sure that's gonna be incredible. That's an incredible read. And it's funny because she wrote Gears 3, from my understanding. She wrote the game,
Yes,
so it's
after
cool that
the previous books, she was tapped to help write the Gears 3 book or
so
video game.
I always love that. I love it when sci-fi writers take on like these properties and are like, no, we're gonna treat this like some serious like sci-fi. We're gonna treat it like a very serious like the first episode you were on, you talked about this series, these books and everything, and the games because you were going back and replaying them, and again how like dark they were and how this world felt really real, lived in, and like angry all the time. Like I would have never got because I admittedly I'm not the biggest Gears guy. Like personally, like I did not enjoy those games. I didn't enjoy what everyone else was like enjoyed about them, right? But like hearing you talk about the books kind of got me interested in like, oh man, do I want to go read a bunch of Gears books the same way I read 2 Halo books and a Diablo book, because that's like where my head's been at, where I'm just reading books based on like video games and like movies because of the lore. That's so funny. But I'm glad that you're chipping away at it.
Yeah, I'll get there, and then the last book is called. Well, it's not the last book, but the last book that I'm gonna probably read out of all of them is The Slab, which takes place before all of it, even before the first game. So it's with Marcus in the Slab, the prison and stuff. So, but yeah, I know I will get through it. I've just been finishing other books and taking my time. So yeah, I'll get there.
That's nice. All right. Anything else?
The last little bit is The Boys' final season. We didn't. I don't think we talked about Invincible, but Invincible finished up their 4th season, I think. Which I love the Invincible. If you don't know what it is, it's a superhero show, like cartoon on Amazon Prime by Robert Kirkman, who also did The Walking Dead, based off of comic books. Very brutal superhero story. Really good. But on the same vein, The Boys is on their final season. I think they're 5 or 6 episodes in at this point, and there's maybe 8 total, so they're almost done. Great show, ridiculous show. Definitely don't take it seriously at all, but it's a lot of fun.
What is it? Either don't take the show seriously or don't take the real life stuff that it's parodying seriously. Because apparently it kind of called a lot of or what like, I think people were kind of like, oh, what's the joke here? Considering that it kind of like called everything that's been going on.
Yeah,
I think that was like
yeah, they made a joke about, because in this final season, like the big bad guy is like thinking that he's God essentially, and then it mirrors the United States with Donald Trump posting an AI image of him being God.
No, he was a doctor. He was a doctor. Come on, let's not get it wrong.
No,
said he was a.
Oh, is that what he said?
That's what. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know? So
no,
yeah, picture,
I don't pay attention to that shit.
That picture of the president of the United States, an AI generated picture of him healing somebody with his hand in an angelic pose. No, he said he was a doctor. That was him supposedly posing as a doctor.
And even then, he's not a doctor. Like, what the fuck? We're not gonna dive too deep into that shit. But they literally were like we had this. We already shot all this, prior to him doing that stupid shit, and then. It's hard to be satirical when, like, the world is just literally doing. Yeah, the world's just fucked up right now. So, but it's a great show. It really is. It's very brutal. It's ridiculous as hell, but I have so much fun watching it. It's good. Just don't eat while you watch it.
My main thing with both these shows, right, The Boys and Invincible, and it's a me problem for sure, is that I'm kind of tired of the whole cynical Superman, what if Superman was bad? What if superheroes were bad? What if they're all assholes? Yada yada, this and that. I think that's my main. That's like, that kind of turned me off. Everyone told me watch The Boys because like they like my. I love comic books. I love superhero stuff, but I'm kind of bored with a lot of superhero movies and TV shows in general. But everyone's like, no, no, the cure to that is The Boys. But at the same time, I'm just kind of turned off by like the whole. All right, we get it. If like a god, like a super powerful, like godlike being came to Earth, he probably wouldn't be so benevolent like Superman. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm just I after that Superman movie, I'm like, this is the kind of thing I want, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think obviously I'm not gonna get that from both Invincible or The Boys. Again, me problem 100%. And I know it's like I know everyone loves these shows, and I'm sure like they're great, but I'm just like, ugh, I'm turned off by it. Like the Injustice stuff. If you remember like the game, how Injustice is all
Yeah.
about like, oh, Superman's bad now. He's a authoritarian. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I don't know.
If you were to pick between watching either one of those, which one do you think you would gravitate
I don't.
towards?
Maybe you know what? Maybe Invincible because it's animated, and also
See,
and the cast is like is and also that one's like a little more sci-fi heavy, which that kind of
yes.
fascinates me because my favorite comic books or my favorite superhero comic books are the ones that go really deep into like the cosmic stuff. So like old Doctor Strange, the 2008 Guardians of the Galaxy run where it's like let's just get all these weird guys together in like a group, that sort of thing. So I think Invincible kind of like would interest me a little bit more. Like I think
Yeah.
that's my main thing.
Yeah. I think and Invincible is a little yes, it has that like uh Superman bad guy whatever, that first premise for that essentially the first season, but after that it is really just like this is a real world sci-fi, like more realistic and not fantastical for superheroes, like I mean it's still pretty fantastical obviously, but like
A little more
it
grounded, I
is
guess.
a little bit, yeah, in a weird way it's a little bit more grounded than yeah, like a fantasy sort of style thing, but yeah, I think you would probably like Invincible over The Boys a little bit more. The Boys is it's so cynical too. It's like deep cynical, um, and it's based off of comic books too. But I've read a little bit of the comics, and it doesn't. It follows little bits of the comic book story and stuff like that with characters and stuff, but they make the show their own thing because the comics are absolute dog shit. The
I heard,
comics are
yeah.
horrible, horribly written. Just it's terrible. It's so much worse. And I mean, the show does the whole, shock value in certain aspects too. But it's nowhere near what that comic book was just doing. It it was just too much.
Yeah, I
It's
heard
not
it.
good.
I heard like the comic is very much like that's Garth Ennis, I think. Very he's had a lot of good stuff. I know that, but I know he also kind of dives into like some incredibly weird and like profane and like just over the top like sadistic stuff where it's like, all right, whatever. Like it's
Yeah, it's like
what
this isn't enjoyable, you know.
I'll get through my stuff real quick because like so I outline all this stuff and I kind of decided to separate the games I've been playing into two categories, right? Because lately
Mhm.
I'm in that mood where it's like, oh no, games aren't fun anymore. Like, oh, all right. Like I'm depressed, I guess. And so I got like a stack of games from the library, one of them being Crimson Desert, which I heard a lot about. And I watched a lot of gameplay and I was confused about. And I'm like, all right, this will be my main sort of like single player game for a little bit until I have to return the copy, right? Because I got it for about like 2 or 3 weeks. Um, I took a lot of notes about this game. I'm like 6 hours in. Uh, it's an odd game. This is the most bizarre AAA game I've ever played, hands down. The
Yeah,
weirdest game I've
yeah.
ever played because it wants to give you all this freedom. You have this big open world. You have all these different powers, everything, right? And it has all these different mechanics, kind of throwing the kitchen sink at you. But then it limits you in the absolute most bizarre ways. Like it wants you to have everything, but you have to also play it on its terms, and it kind of clashes. Why does it have the Red Dead 2 style like movement and like conversation stuff? But then it also has like the Breath of the Wild slash like Assassin's Creed slash Mordor style of like combat, and it's such a weird mishmash that never really feels right. And
Yeah.
that's sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, no, you're 100%. The game is just a lot of mishmash of a lot of great games and their mechanics, and sometimes not the best mechanics from those great games, but it is, and none of it feels quite uh conjoining, yeah, no, you're right. You've gotten further into this game than I have. I put it into the back burner because it's like, man, this game is, I don't know what the fuck I
They're
realistically need to
uploading
do.
it. They're updating it like every like hour. Like I've turned on my PlayStation. It's like, oh, new Crimson Desert like patch. I'm like, oh, okay. But my main thing with this game is like I would watch gameplay, and I would say, what's the hook here, right? Because all that I'm seeing, everyone's like, oh, it's like one of those good like. And I'll get to like the other side of it. They're like, I would get the idea that it's like, oh, is it like one of those really good like 7 out of 10 mid tier games that you and I always talk about, right? Like a Mad Max or a Just Cause, right?
Right.
Like that style of game. Okay, but wouldn't it be better for me to just play that, or couldn't I just play like an Assassin's Creed game, like the big RPG ones? If I really wanted a big open world game that wasn't like the absolute peak of its genre. If I don't want to play The Witcher because The Witcher takes too much work or too much like time to like dedicate myself to, couldn't I just play like a Mordor or an Assassin's Creed or something, right? Like, couldn't I just play that sort of thing? Couldn't I just hop into Skyrim right now and just like mess around with it? That's sort of my thing. So the entire time watching this game, and I'm not trying to be like a hater or contrarian or like negative about it. It's just that that's the vibe that I got. And then again, forgive me, but I swear everyone on Reddit is like, it's some psyop that they're telling me, oh, I'm like, what is it? Have you seen like the meme or like the sentiment going around? It's like, oh, I'm like a single father of 4 and I work like 80 hours like a day, but I can't put this game down. And I'm like, okay, why is everyone sounding like this? I get it. It's a big open world game. You're playing it, but it's like, really? Now, granted, I was kind of hooked on it, but I think it's because the actual game like design and the loop, it reminds me a lot of like a mobile game or an MMO. And I know that these guys
Yes.
are MMO
Yeah.
developers, they're MMO developers, but it doesn't it and doesn't it have that feeling of like a free to play sort of like grindy game where it's like they keep kind of like they have like breadcrumb like trails of like to the next mission, the next dialogue thing. The missions are never anything big. It's just like, oh, go and find like the sheep. Okay, I'm gonna go find the sheep. And then the guy who, when you go find the sheep, the guy tells you, okay, go back and tell them that you found the sheep. I'm like, okay, I'll go back and tell, and it's just that back and forth. Like that's
It's it's
basically all I've been doing.
it's fetch quests is what it is. It's those little side quests that don't really amount to a whole lot. It's just
Yeah,
to
this,
get the get you to make the story start, because the whole thing is like make the town like you or something like that. So then you have to do all these little quests to make the
I
town like
forgot
you.
about
So
that too. Where there's like social elements too, where it's like you
yeah,
talk, if you say hi to people, they like you, and I'm like, what the hell does this mean? Like again, very Red Dead 2. What did I write here? You know what it is? The game is less about the game. It's not about the story or like the journey. It's more so about just kind of like living in this world and doing little tasks. I think that's all I get from it. Right? Like I think like these devs could have made like a life sim or something or a farming game, and it would have been the same style, that same sort of like idea, because yeah, the combat's pretty solid, but it's solid in a way where it's like I would much rather play like again another game with like a tighter focus on combat, right? Also,
yeah,
the controls are
yeah.
horrendous. The controls are
They're
terrible.
they're not good. And I was kind of like waiting for some of these updates to like maybe give you the opportunity to remap some stuff or something. But I haven't seen that at all, and it's so weird. You're like hitting 3 different buttons just to be able to do one simple action, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, I don't know. It's
I'm
almost
playing
too much
on
all at once.
I'm playing on easy just because I'm like, okay, let me not deal. But even on easy, the combat's not like hard. Enemies haven't been like that hard at all. But again, I feel like I'm like I don't know. I don't have a grasp on like what I'm supposed to do. I have to pause the game and like try to remember. Okay, this button does this because my muscle memory is so ingrained to like do this. Crouch is like the one of the sticks, and then you have to sprint with X like you're playing a GTA game. But then you jump with like square. And I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
hold up, what's going on? But for some reason, for some reason, they kept triangle as like the horse button, like any other game. I'm like, oh, okay. It's such a bizarre thing. I mean, again, I'm playing a rented copy. I have like a stack of other games. I don't know if I'll stick with it, but but even with all that, I'm still kind of like sticking with it because again, I think it's just that there's like a loop to it that's like very much like I don't want to spend a lot of time in it, but I kind of want to see what's next. I kind of want to see like I want to see more of the combat, right? I want to see more of like that because that's pretty much it. Don't care about any of the upgrades or like the Legend of Zelda, like the dungeons or anything. I just want to fight people. But it's been taking me so long to get to fights because the game's kind of forcing me to like fetch quest all this stuff. I'm like, oh my god, please, just like let
Yeah.
me get let me do something fun. So yeah, it's such
Yeah.
a bizarre thing. And then my other like category, my grind games, my check-in games, right? So I'm trying really hard to like focus on stuff, right? I'm trying my hardest to like really like try to play one game at a time, try to like get off the hamster wheel of like live service stuff. But man, at the same time, it's like, why am I trying to optimize my video game time? Right? Like, let me just play what I want. Who cares? We're all gonna die, like, anyway. So I've been playing you know, I'm sure if you've heard on the podcast, I've done nothing but play Destiny 2, like over the last couple of like weeks or months. Like it's because that was my hamster wheel game. So I took a break for a little bit because I'm like, I can't keep playing this game. So I picked up the Diablo 4, the new expansion. It's pretty fun. I'm not playing for the story. I'm not playing for anything except for like the actual grind. I just want to get good loot. I want to kill like demons, all this stuff. I'm playing as the warlock, really fun. Like really,
Nice.
really fun, but really hard to like get used to. There's a lot of different like mechanics and everything. But it's really cool to like you can like throw chains that'll like trap a bunch of enemies together. You can build a wall around them that has like axes getting like flailing at them. You could summon a giant hand to like drag them away. It's really cool. Like there's some really cool things. Um so I don't care about like the seasonal stuff or anything. I just want to play for the loot. And then my plan is once I beat this game, once I beat the campaign, I'm gonna go back to like the main game, play through all of it for the story. But for now, I'm just like enjoying like the grind. And then same thing, like Overwatch, like I picked up again. Oh man, I forgot how much fun this game is. I really did. I forgot how much fun Overwatch is. Isn't it crazy how good Overwatch is? Like just in general, like think isolated. Don't like whatever feelings you have towards it or online games in general. Isn't it incredible how good that game was and is
No,
as like a
I
shooter?
1,000,000%. I mean, that game has no matter what I think of it at this point, like that game has always felt really good. It just like how Destiny was like that the feeling for first person shooter style was felt so good. Overwatch is like that hero shooter just like it is king, even with Marvel Rivals and stuff like that, which I think is an okay game too. Um Overwatch will always just be that easy feeling like to pick up and just start playing even if you're not good at those games. It still is so much fun to play. um Only reason I stopped playing Overwatch was because I played it too much and I got burned out on it when there wasn't anything new. um but then Overwatch 2 and now it's Overwatch and whatever, but like
Now we're
yeah.
back to Overwatch 1.
Yeah, and it's so weird. But no, I mean, there's a reason why people still play that game, even if they say they hate it. There's so many people that still play that game, and
It's
I understand
fun.
why. Yeah,
It's a good game. It's like a very much like again, it's one of those like I said earlier. So all three of these games that I talked about, they're my new podcast game. Crimson Desert has no substance. I do not care about the story. Nothing about it's interesting. I don't even know this main guy's name. I'm not. I can look it up. The footage I'll use for the podcast will have his name in the subtitles. I'll forget it by the time I'm done editing this. I don't care. So I have like video essays and podcasts on an iPad on my desk, and then my monitor's playing the game. Diablo and Overwatch are also that, and it's been kind of fun. Like I get it. It's probably not the best for me to like do like the split attention stuff. It's probably not like good for me to play games that are like just grindy messes, but at the same time it's like, oh man, it like helps, right? Like it really is like the perfect remedy, especially after like a bad day or like a long day at work, where it's like, you know what, I don't want to think, I just want to enjoy myself for a little bit, even though Overwatch will get me mad because, you know, my team sucks or I get queued into like the absolute worst lobby. So that's been me like lately with those games, and I've been kind of enjoying myself. I got a new desk, right? So it's there's a lot more space on it. I'm thinking about getting another monitor and like or like a small TV to like hook up to an arm so I can connect the Fire Stick and have like YouTube playing on the days where I'm playing like a really like grindy or like good like comfort food background noise game kind of game. Like that's been where my head's at. That thing you talked about, like the podcast game or like the mentality, like that's where I've been with the games I've been playing lately, and it's been fun. Like it's been great. Like that flow state of like, oh hell yeah, like let me just enjoy this.
Yeah, it's a like I think the boys literally just came out with a new episode today. So like after this podcast, I'm gonna probably throw on either Hades 2 or like Fortnite or something like that, and I'm gonna watch this show and double dip, you know. And I think that I'm progressing in two different things: watching a show and playing a game, and I think that's fine. I have a hard time, especially like Alan Wake or something too. You know, I've been having such a hard time being like, this is my only focus. You know, all I want to do is like be able to do two things, and getting those things done. You know, and enjoying that. There's too much stuff to too much content. You know, I don't
Horrible
know. I'm
word,
bad
but
with it.
yes, 100%. I agree, 1000%. You know, it's the worst. You should never go out and say this is gonna be my one thing. You know why? It's never gonna end up like that. For a
Yeah.
while, I was playing Starfield, got really into it. Then like my game kept freezing because of course it did. It's Bethesda game. So I'm like, all
Hmm.
right, I guess I'll stop. When they patched it, I got back into it. But then I also got like a stack of games from work, including Crimson Desert, so I have to pause it again. So I should never say this is gonna be my one game. Just I can't. I should never say that. But for now, I'm just like kind of vibing a little bit. Also, speaking of books, I finished the second Darth Bane book, which is like I talked about it last week on the pod. I won't dive too much into it, but man, I've been a lore sicko with all this like with Star Wars stuff. I've been watching video essays and like learning. I made like a spreadsheet of every Old Republic book that I'm gonna read. I'm like sorting through everything. Like this is like me. I'm like all in on like Star Wars. I'm back in. It's terrible. It's bad for me, but I love it. Watching Mandalorian season 3. It's terrible, but I'm back in. I'm like, I'm gonna go watch that awful Mandalorian movie, and I'm gonna go to a theater on like my day off and watch it with all the other nerds. Um, but yeah,
Oh,
let's.
you know it's gonna be fun. Like even if it's not great, you know it's gonna be so much fun to
You know
watch.
what? In all seriousness, and I gotta stop being so cynical. So, Star Wars to me has always been a movie. Star Wars is movies to me. The TV shows don't. Star Wars should never be a TV show, ever. It should. They should be movies. They should be events, right? So as bad as Rise of Skywalker was, that was an event. I went to the movies to go see it. So it
Hmm.
sucks that we haven't gotten much out of it. A lot of these shows could have been movies, and
Yeah, I could see that.
they
Absolutely.
would have been. And I think I don't know if they would have been better, but it would have felt more significant, right? But you know, there's like shows like again, there's an Ahsoka Tano show. I'm not gonna watch that. If it were a movie, I would have considered it. Just because it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I know.
okay, that feel
Yeah.
that there's like a gravitas story. There's an Obi-Wan Kenobi show starring Ewan McGregor from the movies, and one of the Safdie brothers is in it. Like, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm still not gonna watch it because it's a show on Disney Plus. And so I guess
Y-
that's sort of my thing, where it's like, yeah, the Mandalorian movie, sure, they put a Netflix movie in theaters, but it's still a
Right.
movie, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna go watch it because it's an event. Like we're kind of back into like, oh, Star Wars is in theaters for like the first time in like 7 years. I go to Burger King and I see all the the promotional stuff. It's
Oh
like,
God. Yeah.
but you get, it's like, it's making me like go back to a time where it's like I took my brother out of school to go see Last Jedi when he was in high school and I was in college. I
Yeah.
was like, I took him out early and we went to like an IMAX screening early in the morning to go watch Last Jedi, right? Or we went to go see Rogue One. in like IMAX also. Like it's like things like that where it's like, yeah, this matters. Like this is important. So like you said, oh, it's definitely gonna be fun. I'm excited. I took the day off to go see it. I'm gonna go.
Nice.
It's a long weekend. It's a long weekend too. So I'll watch it. If I hate it, oh well. I saw it in theaters. If I like it, oh well. That says more about me than anything. But it's an exciting prospect. I'm like, I bought a Boba Fett shirt. Like that's how deep in the trenches I am now.
Nice.
Like I'm back in Star. There's this thing where it's like nobody should feel shame for like anything they like. Who cares? Who cares? Like go obsess over that thing. Go talk about your interests. Start a podcast. Give your friends 2 weeks notices to get on. Like do it. Do whatever you want to do. Like about just talk. Anyway, I had you bring me a question this week, and I have one for you. So we'll kind of like go back and forth on that. A lot of the show has been about sort of repetition, right? You and I go through cycles a lot. We talk about the same things. A lot of the I've had you on and I've had Maddie on twice. You two are the only guests I've had more than once. And the main thing that I think we usually talk, we always bring up the same few things, right? Whether it's like a specific game that we're kind of going back to, but you brought up the Gears of War books today, right? That was like a big part of like that first episode we recorded where you're like going through that journey. So my question to you is, we're visiting the backlog topic. It's like, what's sort of the secret to enjoying stuff that we want to play? Like how do we balance like all this stuff? Like how do we play things now as we keep balancing, right? Like life and everything like that. You brought up on that first episode that the backlog shouldn't be a hindrance, rather like it should be more like a curated library or something that you kind of sample. I remember like you had brought that up. So with that mentality, then how do you kind of enjoy it now? You're a family man. You work full time. I work full time. I have social obligations, and I school. Like, how do we kind of enjoy things like that?
Man, I feel like it's a day-to-day sort of situation for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is, I mean, we were just talking about it, podcast games and stuff like that. Like, I'm still playing a new game, and I'm doing stuff in this game and progressing, and it's a loop, but like we're still moving forward in that while I'm also watching something. I think for me it is, I have very limited time of me time, where so when I do get that me time, I am trying to stuff as much stuff as possible and like just kind of maxing out that time as much as possible to be able to do some certain things, where so then when it comes down to like, oh, I have this much time to focus on one thing, I'm like, man, I just, or use that same exact time to focus on two things, so
Right.
it's hard to, the balance is something that I think I will probably deal with for a long time. I got two young kids, and so it turns into a balance of sharing that stuff with them as well, and being able to incorporate them with a lot of the things that I like, uh, which I'm lucky that they are into video games as much as me. Um, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out entirely. It's not easy, that's for sure.
I think what's funny. My main thing is it's not trying to stuff as much into one thing, right? It's more so like feeling like I'm wasting time because let's say I have all this time off now. After the podcast, I'm going to decide I want to play a video game. If I play Overwatch, is that better or worse for me than making progress in Crimson Desert, a game that like I have no true like obligation to? It's a library game. It's a rental, right? Is it, should I play Diablo 4? But is that like any better if I'm like, it's that sort of thing where I feel like I'm playing the wrong thing. I want to play Fortnite. I want to play the Star Wars stuff. But at the same time, it's like, is that really the best use of my time? Who's asking these questions? I don't know. who do I have to answer to? I don't know why I'm like freak, but it's that's sort of my thing. That's where I've lacked the balance, or that's where I struggle to find balance because I feel like I'm playing the wrong thing at the moment.
Yep.
Like I always feel bad
Yep.
when when I have Saturdays off. I feel bad that I'm spending my Saturday playing a multiplayer game, because it's like, well, dude, you could have made so much progress playing, Starfield, right? Or going back to like some other single player game in your backlog. So it's, man, it's like, oh, okay, so what are we doing here in that regard? So I think that's where my mentality's always been, and it sucks. It's a bad thing to feel, because it's like, who cares? Like, right, like who cares? It's like, I like multiplayer games, I like single player games, I like all kinds of games. Who cares what I'm doing? Who cares about like arbitrary like progress markers and things? But it's like, I still feel that sort of guilt, that sort of like shame.
Yep.
My
I get that. Yep.
Do I sound like an insane person? Like kind of.
No, that totally makes sense. I think you definitely said it way better than I could, because I could not think of the best way to say it. But that resonates with me a lot too. It's like, man, I wasted my whole free time just doing this, and well, I could have played this one. I could have finished up this game or something, and yeah, no, that makes so much sense. And yeah, that's such a weird way that we look at that, where it's we feel guilty, and it's like, what? There's no reason to feel guilty about it. We still had a good time doing whatever we just did. So yeah, I don't know, that make me think a little bit too much on this podcast.
I always do. I always do, huh? But it is funny, because it's like, I get it. Multiplayer games are usually bad in general. Like, they're bad for like any sort of like. We talked about it during the marathon podcast, where it's like, how much did that game impact our backlogs, right? Like, how much did that game kind of break our routines, because we're playing? It was an online game. We have to log in every day, check in on it, play it. And where are we at now? You're playing Fortnite. How much is that impacting you, right? In like in a weird way, taking away from Alan Wake 2, or from even Hades, right? How much is that taking away from games that you could make actual progress in, versus like, I mean, how many bad matches of like Fortnite could you have in like a single session? Like a million, right? Like you could have like the worst day of your life there. Same thing with like Overwatch. I could have like the absolute worst night. I mean, I'll still feel good in the sense that, oh, I'm having fun with this game, I'm trying out new things, but like I hate that pressure. I hate that sort of like guilt that I shouldn't have for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
All right, let's move on to your question. Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, and I think mine kind of ties into what, kind of similar to what we were just talking about, just a little bit. But so when you replay a game, which I don't know how often that is now, but if you did it in the past and stuff like that, was that all about being comfortable with that game? Was it, nostalgia based, or is it avoidance to move on to something else?
This is an incredible question, because I never replay games, ever. I rarely replay games. Do you want to know the only game I've like truly replayed multiple times? It is.
Can I guess?
Tony Hawk. Oh, go ahead. Damn it.
Oh,
yes.
Damn. No, I was gonna be wrong. I was gonna say Red Dead.
No, never. I've actually, so funny enough, I've booted up Red Dead 2 twice recently. Like, I've restarted it, and because I remember the one I watched, 310 the Yuma, the remake, with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. I love that movie. Bought the Steelbook
that
too,
movie's
but
so
I watched it and I'm like, okay, I need to replay Red Dead 2. So I deleted my save and started again. Like, that's how. And I get like 10 hours in and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. When you get to like that like area where you have to like, what was it? You have to like sneak around and give like the love letters, like that stealth mission. That's sort of where I stop. I want to go back, but I'm like, I know the second I start it, they're gonna announce some sort of remaster. So I'm like, okay, I'm hold off.
Oh God.
No, but like for me, it's Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is like the most consistent game I played for almost like 20 years now. That's the only game I kind of go back to. As far as like story driven games, I don't replay a lot because I don't like a lot of like big AAA like prestige games enough to like play through them once. You know, the few that I do play, why would I play again? Some examples: when Spider-Verse came out, I played through the first Spider-Man game again on PS5 so I can play Miles, because I'm like, oh, okay, let me get some context, right? So I played Spider-Man 1 again. That's an easy game to replay, especially on easy. That's what I did. I played on easy, skipped all the puzzle segments, and, you know, I played for the story. Then I played Miles Morales, and I'm like, oh, this, you know, and then that game's way better. Guess what I did not play? I did not play Spider-Man. I did not play Spider-Man 2. I have not touched that game. I always try to replay certain games, but it's just that I feel like I'm wasting. It's that thing. I'm wasting time. Like, why am I doing that? So it's funny that you bring this up, because on my PlayStation I have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order downloaded. I'm in a Star Wars mood, you know, and I'm like, I didn't like Jedi Fallen Order when I first played it, when I first tried it. Then after previewing the second game in Los Angeles, I'm like, okay, let me beat that game so I can be ready for the sequel when I review it. So I played through all of it. I ended up enjoying it way more. And then I played through the second game. The second game's like way better. It's like one of the best Star Wars games ever made. Part of me is kind of curious to go back to that first game if there's like a new game plus mode. To like, I haven't checked. I don't know. So that part of like me is like interested in going back to it. You know what game I really wanted to? I get moods. You know what game I really wanted to go back to and replay, and you're gonna think I'm like an insane person. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Because that game,
yeah, that's insane. That is insane.
Yes. Do you want? Okay, you know how long it took me to like beat that game? Like how long? And mind you, across 2 consoles, like about 100 hours to before I finished it. Like before I hit credits. All right, that game is insanely long. That game has so much going on. The actual upgrade, the mechanics and everything, like it takes forever to get through anything. Great game. I reviewed it when it came out. Liked it a lot. The only reason I haven't picked it up again is because there's no new game plus, and I don't want to start over. Like I don't want to do everything all over. If there was like an option to jump in with all my upgrades, I'd be fine with it. But with the way the upgrades work in that game, where it's like, okay, you have to upgrade everything incrementally, and you don't know what's next. You know, what is it? You could upgrade your health in one, and then immediately the next one is, oh, you're gonna get +3 damage. I'm like, all right, no, game, I'm not doing that. So,
right.
You want to? That's insanity, right? I will replay Assassin's Creed 4 when the remake comes out, but I guess that's different because it's technically a new game, right?
Yeah, 50-50.
Like,
I
it's
mean,
the same
you're still
story.
Getting...
It's the same story and everything, but it's like I don't think people would consider Resident Evil 4 and the remake the same game, right? Like those are different games to an extent. I feel like this is sort of in that camp. But it's still like the same experience I had when I first played it.
Yeah.
So
for the most part,
that's sort of. But anyway, I'm kind of like going on and on. But it's like, yeah, I'd never replay stuff. But your question of whether it's like comfort, nostalgia, avoidance, I think it's a weird combination of all three, right? Real quick, I just thought of a game I do replay regularly: Super Mario World. Every time I get a new handheld, or a new Nintendo system, or like an emulator or something, the first game I play on it is Super Mario World. So on my Switch Lite, I beat Super Mario World. When I got my OLED and I got like new grips with a D-pad, I played through all of Super Mario World in a weekend again. And when I got my Retroid, I played through all of it because I had to test it out on like it. That's like my game to test on it. I played that game religiously when I was young on Super Nintendo, and that is like my. That's like one of the few games I will replay like as many times as I could. Like a true replay, right? From beginning to end. I'll go through all of it. I won't go through a completionist run because I'm not an insane person. I hate doing completionist stuff. But I'll get through the end every single time I play it. Whenever I pick it up, I have to go through it all again. So I guess that's pretty much...
That's very just a combination of comfort and nostalgia for that one, for sure.
I would say so. That game's like perfect, and even though I know everything that's going to happen, it's a very fun game. It's very intuitive, and it's like I love 2D platformers. It is comfort. It is nostalgia too. Like that game, I have it tied to like a very personal point in my life. So like that to me, it's like it's very special. I'll go back to it every time I could. I want to replay more stuff. There's like games I really want to replay, but again, I feel bad. Is this really the best use of my time? The answer is who cares, but you know. How about you then? Like, what's sort of your view on like replaying stuff like that?
So there's a few games that I always end up like rebooting up. I probably don't play through them all the way, um, but Assassin's Creed, any of the Assassin's Creed games at this point, except for like Origins, Valhalla, and then whatever the one
You should replay Valhalla, Cody. Get back to me
Odyssey.
when you
No,
get back to me
they're
in
too
like
big.
6 months. Get back to me in 6 months when you replay all of Valhalla
Yeah,
and the DLC.
those ones are too big. You know, like I can't replay those ones. But like the very first one, I've replayed that one a couple times, and I think that for that, that's definitely a nostalgia thing because
Hmm.
that was like the you always ask for something for Christmas, and it's like your number one ticket thing when you're younger. It's like this is the only thing that I want for Christmas, and like that was the first time ever that I was like, I only want this game, and I got it for Christmas, and I beat it in a weekend, and I loved it. And so that is a game that's definitely nostalgia based for me because playing that game is a pain in the ass now because it's not optimized at all. It's compared to even the second one. It is rough to play sometimes, um, but definitely nostalgia based. But one that I know is a comfort and avoidance game for me has always been Fallout 3.
Hell yeah.
I will always go back and I will if I'm like, man, I don't want to start this game, I don't want to go back to this game, whatever, I don't want to continue this game right now. I will just throw on Fallout 3 and I will just play that. And it's such an easy game. I love that game. I know exactly what to do in that game. And it's very easy to just be like, yeah, I don't need to do any of that other stuff right now. I'm just going to play this. I want to play a game. I'm going to play this one. So there's only a handful of games that I have gone back through to replay in some aspect, and it's probably the Assassin's Creed games. It's definitely Alan Wake, but not as much. I've done that I think I've played through that game like 3 times at this point. And
I'm
then
trying to
Fallout 3.
remember like what games. Like there's like stray ones I've replayed. Like Saints Row 3 I've played like twice. Um, I've like booted up like Assassin's Creed 4 on like both PlayStation and Switch.
Right.
Right? Like that's Skyrim. I mean, we all own Skyrim like on 18 different consoles. Like I've started it multiple times. Things like that. You know what it is for me though? I don't finish a lot of games. That's my main problem. So
I do have that issue too.
so I usually restart them, right? So like Star Wars Outlaws, I reviewed when it came out, but I'd never like finished it, and I know that they updated it. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should go back to it like with a new save with all the changes, right? Assassin's Creed Shadows, same thing. I kind of want to I want to restart it and go through it, but with like better. I want to like optimize it so I can make it more focused on the loot rather than like anything else because I have that thing now with like loot games. I want to play like looter games or whatever.
Right.
That game I'm not going to touch yet until after Black Flag. Yeah, Black Flag is like let's talk about that for a second. Isn't it crazy? Like it's real. Like it's finally a real. We've known about it, the rumors and leaks. Isn't it crazy that we're actually getting a remake of me personally my favorite game in the series? Like that like a true masterpiece in the series. Like we're actually getting like a brand new version of it that looks incredible. Like isn't that crazy?
Um, no, for me, no. I think I'm not surprised by it at all. Like I wasn't surprised by it even remotely because Black Flag is arguably the best game, like fundamentally mechanically the most fun and best Assassin's Creed game there is. Like, it might not be everyone's favorite or whatever, but when it comes to like everything put together, Black Flag is the best. Like,
Oh my god, just
easily, easily.
that game. Every Assassin's Creed game like owes like everything to that. You know, the ship stuff, a lot of like the way the worlds are designed. That game's world is like incredible. The fact that we're finally going to get a version of it where the ocean is free to explore rather than like cut into loading screens. Oh my god, like it's crazy that we're...
I don't even remember the loading screens and stuff like that ever, because I just like that game was just amazing playing it. I was so nervous about that game because the ship combat in Assassin's Creed 3 that they introduced was so fucking terrible, and it made me so mad. And then they're like, it's all pirates, baby, for 4. And I was like, I fucking hate the ship combat so much. And they made it so much better in the 4th one. It was actually, it was so good.
They made it so good that they made a game all about ship combat, and it bombed. Isn't that crazy? That
yeah, kind of, bro. Right.
It's cool. Part of me kind of wish they would have done with like an Assassin's Creed 1 remake. If they really...
Oh,
but
I'm still holding out hope for that.
I get why 4. 4 is the most popular one. I kind of hope they do 3 next, just so it bleeds into the story. Because I have a lot of love for Assassin's Creed 3. I know people don't like it, but there's so much about that game that's like really ambitious for this series, right? It was them trying to do like a pseudo Red Dead style like wilderness, and the world was bigger. The story was really ambitious, right? Like I liked a lot of that game. Like I liked what it was trying to do, but they had some issues and it moved very slow. It's a very slow paced game, but there's a lot to love about like how that world feels, and I don't think they really like captured that vibe. Rogue kind of hits it because it's the same map, but 3's like story is like, oh my god, like it's about like the founding of this country in like a way where it's like, oh okay, you know, spoiler alert for a 14-year-old game, but the ending where like you do everything and Connor realizes, oh wait, this country's still messed up. I haven't done much. I can't do anything. I cannot fix things because fundamentally these people are all flawed. I love it. Like I absolutely love all that. I hope they do that up next, just for like the sake of the story. Like, oh, you're playing as Edward, then you go to Hatham, then you go to Connor, and then whatever they do. I know they can't do the Ezio stuff unless they're going to do all 3 at once, but I feel like that's way too big for them.
I'm okay. See, I like Ezio, but like he's never been my favorite, and I know he's everybody else's favorite and stuff like that. And they're really good games, but yeah, man, if they went back and remade Assassin's Creed 1, just even, oh my god, I can't even imagine. It'd be so sick. It'd be so cool.
One would be
and for
cool.
them to, I need them to put in the crossbow, like the crossbow that you see in the trailer for Assassin's Creed 1.
Oh, right.
They cut that out, like they put that back in the game. That's so crazy that they pulled that. But yeah, no, I don't know. That's doesn't matter. But yeah, I would love for them to go back to 1 and make it shine like all these other ones.
I'm excited for this. Like I love Assassin's Creed. To me is like, that's like my series, right? Through all the good and bad, I will show up. I'll show up like 100%. They're not perfect 100%. I haven't played all of them. I don't love all of them equally, but like overall, this series is like batting average is probably better than most like long running series. So for them to go back and like again redo like one, I would love it if they're like, okay, 1 year we'll do like the big RPG one, another year we'll either do a remake or a smaller scale one, right? And then that's like their sort of back and forth, or like they'll wait 2 years in between. If that's like their mission, I'm all in. Even the live service stuff that they had planned, where it's like they're gonna have it all launched through like the Animus stuff, I'm all in on that too. It makes sense thematically. So I don't know. For me, like this series, like I'll eat up whatever garbage they feed me, 100%. But like it to me, like this is like this to me is like the most perfect like solution they've had in like a long time to whatever. I feel like a lot of like they're hedging a lot of their bets on like this one doing well.
Yeah. So on my Xbox right now, I still have Shadows, Unity, Mirage, and the Liberation game downloaded
Hell yeah.
for just because if I get that feeling, because I never beat Shadows and I never beat Mirage. Mirage, I could not get into at all.
I have not
But
played Mirage. That's one of the few I haven't played. Everything I've heard about that game and seen from that game looks like a mess of like too many different ideas, not
yeah,
enough like focus, because it's like, oh, it wants to go back to old school Assassin's Creed, but it still kind of retains a lot of the modern Assassin's Creed stuff, so it doesn't know what it wants to do.
yeah,
I think
it's
so.
a failed attempt at going back to more stealth version of Assassin's Creed for sure.
I'm a staunch defender of the RPG stuff. Like I get it. They're not everyone's cup of tea, 100%. But I like this idea where it's like we don't get historical RPGs. We don't get games where you play in like historical settings. I like the idea of like fuck it, The Witcher takes place in Greece now. Like things like that, right? Like I like that. I know that people are like bemoaning like, oh, but the stealth, the social stealth in the gameplay. Go back and play like the older ones now. Not you, Cody, specifically, but you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying. All these sickos who cry about go back and play 2 now and report back to me. Like
yeah,
go back.
and they're rough, dude. Like
Even Black
regardless
Flag,
of what you think. Yeah,
even Black Flag. As much as I love that game you go back and play it now. It is rough. The combat feels so sluggish and so like. I think the best playing of those games pre RPG era is like Syndicate because it's focused on melee, really like heavily focused on melee. It feels like an Arkham game almost. And then the RPG stuff, I prefer like the sort of Souls like parry, dodge, attack thing. Like I like how fast and fluid that feels. So that's sort of my mentality, like, or my recent thing. I'm of the opinion that like them going to RPGs is like the best thing that they could have done. But I'm glad they're kind of going back to like a more refined version of the old school ones.
yeah,
With the
yeah.
Black Flag remake.
I think going RPG route was natural progression for this series. Absolutely. I think the like hardcore loot aspect of it is what kind of didn't turn me off from it, obviously, because I still played it like crazy. But it was still that was one of those things of like, oh my god, why I shouldn't be going through 10 different swords trying to figure
So
out like which one I like the best. It's like I don't want to do all that shit.
initially that bothered me. Initially that did, but lately I'm like been understanding like, oh no, it's probably like really fun now for the state of like I'm in, where it's like I want to get new stuff every single time. I want to grind. I want to like do all this stuff, and the fact that you can like scale everything, like, oh, I'm like, okay, what they did was they made the most accessible RPG out there.
Yeah.
If The Witcher
Yes.
3 is too hardcore for you, this is what you play and it works. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and all these games kind of like evolve a lot of different systems. You know, Odyssey introduced like choice based like, dialogue and romance options. Valhalla kind of evolved a lot of Valhalla added like things like charisma that allowed you to like get, have better options in conversations and like get your way around things. And then Shadows introduced like again, Shadows was really cool because it's like, oh, you have 2 characters, but they're not aesthetic differences. They're like actual gameplay differences, which is a smart thing. I'm like, yeah, that's good. Because let's be honest, them choosing male and female Eivor, or Alexios and Cassandra, that's just them chickening out because they know people will get mad if you have to play as a woman for whatever reason. Who cares? But it's like, at least here it's like, no, Yasuke, Yasuke and what are these people's names? I apologize. Hold up, Shadows. Oh, this is embarrassing.
Well, what's funny is that they made Cassandra the canon character.
Because that just shows that they were chickening out. They were like they knew, but they were like, no, gamers can't handle anything.
I think the female Eivor was the canon character also.
But she's not on the box, which is funny. Which is very funny again.
Right.
What a bunch of babies. But anyway, like
the two characters in
the 2 characters in Yeah, so it's what is it? Yasuke and what is it? Now I think that's your pronouncing. Like both of them are
Yeah.
different characters. One is stealth, one is more action focused. I really do like that idea. I don't know. I've gone on long enough about Assassin's Creed. I love this series. It's this thing, and I'm my biggest hot take or my biggest sort of like don't ever take me seriously about games. I played a good chunk of Assassin's Creed Shadows, reviewed it, loved it. I played 2 hours of Ghost of Yotei, and I was bored to tears. And I think that should tell you more or less like where my head's at with a lot of these open world games or a lot of these games.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Is there anything you're looking forward to for the rest of the year? Or not the rest of the year, sorry. Like, but anything like looking forward to like soon? Any new books, games, or
Um,
anything like that?
there is a brand new Ben 10 comic book that just dropped. I think literally today. If you know anything about Ben 10, I mean, I kind of grew up with Ben 10. I was a kid when the first cartoon came out, but it's a kid that gets some space watch that can transform him into aliens, and he becomes a superhero. This new
Is this
Ben 10
based
comic
on
book,
the kid one, or is it based on the Alien Force one where he's a teenager?
I think it's the kid one. I think it
Interesting.
straight up
Okay.
starts with him as a kid. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember looking at the like cover for the books and stuff like that, and they're like realistic looking aliens and shit like that, and it's like I don't know, man. It looks pretty sick. I'm excited to read that. Um, game wise, the Lego Batman Legacy game is coming out in like 2 weeks or something like that. That game looks awesome. I'm so excited
Did
for
you
that.
play the last Lego Star Wars game? Did you play that one?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did play that. Not a ton of it, but yes, I did play it. I think I got it on like the Steam Deck.
Did you
Was playing
like
it on
the
there.
changes where it was like more combat focused and it's like they sort of made it into like a normal shooter as opposed to like a weird janky platformer? Like, did you like the changes they
Um,
made to the formula?
I didn't notice it. If I'm going to be absolutely real with you, it still felt like a Lego game to me.
This new Batman one looks interesting because Lego Arkham basically. Like it's open world, it's combat focused.
Yes,
they had the absolute Batman, which I'm like, some poor kid's gonna ask their parents for that. Like
dude,
some poor
fucking
kid's gonna ask their
those comics.
they're gonna
Those comics are so sick though too. They're so good.
like again. Can you imagine some kids playing this game? We talked about it last week on the pod. But it's like some kid's gonna pick up that game and be like, "Oh, mom, can I get this comic?" You know, and his life is ruined right then and
Yeah,
there.
right.
That's cool. Though.
Jeez. Yeah.
I'm kind of curious about it, but I might wait for a sale when it comes with all the DLC because those Lego games I like to have all the characters at once. Even though I never use all of them, but I like having the complete version
Yeah,
of
no,
them.
that absolutely makes sense. Yep. But yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
I
cool.
mean, the new James Bond game looks cool, but they just said that it's like 20 hours ish to beat, and I'm like, is that? I mean, that's great for my time, but is that great for my wallet? So I'm kind
There you
of
go.
debating on that right now.
So I listened to the Lana Del Rey song. Haven't watched like the opening movie because I'm like I want to save it for when I eventually play the game. And I wasn't gonna get it initially. I'm still not, but my curiosity piqued immensely when I heard the song, and I'm like, oh my god, they're going all out for this. I don't love the Hitman games. I think that's like my one of my bigger like gaming like thing. Like I prefer like something like Phantom Pain over like the weird puzzle stuff in Hitman. Hitman feels more like a puzzle game than like a true stealth action game. So I don't know. This new one it looks more like an action game. Like it's basically like Uncharted meets like Hitman. And I kind of dig it, but is it enough for me to get it day one? I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm in the same boat. Like I like what Hitman does, but I whenever I try and play it, I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to do this. So then I don't. So I mean, Hitman is a incredible game for what it's going for. Absolutely. Like it does everything that it wants to do very, very well. It's just not 100% something for me.
As far as new games out, the problem is the one game I would want to play that comes out very soon is Forza Horizon 6. I don't want to use my Series S because that console is garbage. And everything looks like garbage on it, and I don't want to pay for Game Pass. So the true test of FOMO will be, can I wait for Forza to come out on PlayStation? So that's like, can I avoid? Thankfully, I'm good at curating my feed. I don't really have video game news at all, right? I'll ignore the review, or I'll watch the reviews and I'll just be like, that looks cool. I'll wait until it comes out. Like, we'll see, right? Like, we'll see if my patience is rewarded, because I have no desire to play it on anything other than like the absolute best version I could possibly play it on, which is on PS5. Other than that, I mean, it's funny. I was like, oh man, there's no games for the summer. I'm gonna get so much stuff done. I'm gonna play like through my backlog. I'm gonna play, whatever new Destiny 2 stuff comes out, like whenever they do like their showcase. And bam, Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft hits me with like the biggest, like, yeah, okay, have fun with that, kid. I wasn't gonna review any games for like a couple months. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna ask for review codes. I'm gonna chill. And then this game, and I'm like, all right. As soon as I'm out, they pull me back in. So,
Yeah,
like,
worth it though. Worth it.
oh yeah, 1000%. A new Assassin's Creed game like around a little bit after like 4th of July weekend. Oh yes, please. Oh my god, please. It's funny because what I usually do during the summers, my main games have always been like racing games. Because like, for example, like the Crew will usually do a big like live event or something, so I'll jump into the Crew Motorfest. I do that last time. I guess that's like my sort of like last. I have two questions for you real quick, and then we'll sign off. My first question is, do you have like games associated with different moods or like seasons specifically? I know it's different for. I know you're in a different spot because you have kids, right? So I assume it varies all the time. But do you ever have that sort of mentality for things?
When it comes to games, I'm gonna probably say no. Because I mean, the games that I would go back and play, like it is whenever
Right.
the feeling strikes me. When it comes to like movies and TV shows and stuff like that, I mean, every Halloween I am rewatching the Scream franchise, because that is,
Yeah.
I love no matter how ridiculous they are, I love those. But when it comes to games, no, nope, I do not have any sort of seasonal thing with that. I've never really thought about that until now, and it's, yeah, definitely do not have seasonal games. That's interesting.
Yeah, and then my other question: what's more rewarding, finishing a book or finishing a game?
Ooh, shit.
Yeah, what makes you feel better
Honestly,
about yourself?
uh, I probably a book, because a book can take me so well. No, because when it comes to games, it like me finishing a game full on is kind relatively rare. It feels like, whereas books,
Mm-hmm.
like I know eventually I'm gonna finish it. Um, oh man, I don't know. I don't know. It might be games, just because when I finally beat in like Hades 2, that's like the most recent like win that I've gotten. Even though I haven't finished the game, but that was like a big win for me. I was so proud of myself. But like finishing a book, I'm like, yeah, that was a good book. On to the next one. But with a game, yeah, I think it's games. A game feels like it is more of an accomplishment lately than a book is, because I always have that next book. I have the next book after this book after this book. Whereas the game, I'm like, it's a surprise if I even stick with it sometimes.
I
Oh,
think, okay, so in my eyes, a book feels like an accomplishment because, again, I'm reading that thing and I have no distractions. You kind of, I'm trying not to use my phone, trying not to listen to music while reading. I'm like focusing on the book. And I feel like even a bad book is more rewarding than like a good video game, because at least I'm like using my brain to like read, right? Like it's like, I'm like my vocabulary is improving. I'm reading before bed, so like I'm not like exposing myself to like blue light, whatever, all this stuff. Finishing a game, I don't know what that is anymore because I don't care. But a book, I'm like, oh man, I have a stack of library books I got to get through. You know what I got today? I got Star Wars Shatterpoint, like the Clone Wars book by Matthew Stover about Mace Windu. It was written in the 2000s, and I heard like incredible things. I'm like, oh, okay, good. I just finished that Darth Bane book, and I'm still waiting on like my library to get, send me my audiobook of my audio copy of the first High Republic book. So
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
okay, yeah. That's my gym book. But
Hell yeah.
I always feel like finishing a physical book is like the most rewarding thing in the world because it makes me feel slightly smarter. Because again,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm regressing whenever I play video games by putting on a video essay and playing like a grindy multiplayer game that is not doing anything for me. Like I feel like an animal in like a zoo, and this is my enrichment time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But if you finished a single player game, like, wouldn't that feel like a huge accomplishment?
I don't know, because so what was the last game I finished? I'm trying to remember. Man, it must have. Oh, last game I finished was Donkey Kong Bonanza on Switch 2. That did feel like an accomplishment because, like, maybe it's less of an accomplishment and more so, wow, that was a wonderful journey. I enjoyed it, but I didn't feel accomplished. If that makes sense. If that makes sense.
Dude. Okay, so I literally just thought of the last game that I beat, and it was Dying Light: The Beast. And finishing it, it wasn't a feeling of accomplishment. It was a feeling of, oh, finally, like I got it done. Right. It was more relief than accomplishment. And that game was great. I love that game, but it really was just like,
why do we feel like we tick something off a list? We were supposed to enjoy this. Yeah, I get it. I finished some Destiny. Like, what is it? I finished like some Destiny 2 campaigns. I don't know if those count, but that's more social because I'm playing with friends. So it's like, I don't know. It's like a bizarre.
I think that counts. That counts.
Okay, so the last game
absolutely.
beat was the last game. Okay, then the last thing I truly beat was Destiny 2: Edge of Fate, which was the second to last expansion, which was good.
Nice.
So then I did that. That didn't feel like an accomplishment per se, but it did feel like, oh, this was cool. I'm like getting story bits that I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. Right. And I'm like, learning more about the lore. But again, nothing feels like an accomplishment. A book feels like a thing I should celebrate reading. Also, part of it is I'm logging it onto Goodreads, and I'm like going through like my yearly challenge. So there's that, right? Even reading comics doesn't feel like an accomplishment. Like, I feel like I'm just kind of wasting time. Do you get what I'm saying? Not that it is a time waste. Like, it is like a waste of time, but it just kind of feels like, I could be reading like an actual book right now. That thing you said, right? Like, you have the Gears of War book there waiting for you, but you're going to read the Ben 10 comic later, I assume.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean, anything you want to...
So,
sorry,
just to throw this out there really quick, I have a 20 books to read for the year. That is my goal for reading. I'm currently at 18.
Nice.
But that counts comic books. So if you don't count the comic books, I've read 6 books so far this year. But which is still pretty good.
It is pretty good, actually.
That's a book a month, like book and some change a month. That's still pretty good. But yeah, when it comes to comic books, I mean, it counts. It counts. It counts as my reading goal, so I'm gonna count it.
So what I did for my reading goal this year was I initially said 15 books, but then I'm like, oh, I feel like the comic books kind of clutter up the timeline, and then I'm like, I was tempted to remove them from my challenge, but then I read online someone was like, no, just add an extra book towards your goal for every comic you read. I'm like, oh, okay, that's better.
Oh shit.
So, but you get what I'm saying? Like,
that makes sense.
If I reread a comic, it's not cluttering like the challenge portion of it, right? Because I'm like, oh, I want to read actual books. I want to read I've read 15 so far. All right, 15's pretty good, right? And then so of those, the actual books I've read 1, 2, counting audiobooks. So I've read I did Project Hail Mary as an audiobook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11 books, and then the rest comics, that seems like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm probably confusing. I'm probably confusing the ones I read last, like, end of like the December. So I've done 11 actual books, but then again, I'm gonna be honest, most of them are based on like Star Wars and Halo. So how much of real books are they in the grand like scheme of things? But yes, I'm like I that feels like an accomplishment, you know,
It does.
like being
It
able
does.
to being able to sit and read a book. But yeah. Anyway, do you have anything you want to plug? Any projects you're working on?
I got nothing going on. I got work and kids and the gym and but yeah, that's nothing for other people to go check out. Other than my kids do YouTube videos every once in a while. So you can, if you have kids, you can have them go watch those videos.
I'll link that below. You got any socials you want to plug?
No, I deleted all
Okay.
of them. I have like Twitter,
No,
but I don't use it.
Get on Bluesky to repost us.
There we go.
Get on there. Repost.
I have a Bluesky. I have an account. Yeah. I don't use any of it. I forget that it's even around anymore. That's a lonely life for me, but I make it work.
Amen. You can find me. You know where to find me. I'm not gonna like do anything. Plug wise, I'm taking a break from any and all writing because I just finished school for the semester. So I'm taking like a 2-week sabbatical. I want to get away from the computer, like typing up anything. I wrote like a bunch of papers back to back. So I'm gonna get back to seriously writing probably like mid-May, early June, and then I'll like crank out stuff on the blog. I started writing intros to every podcast, sort of like a letter from the editor. And what is it? Those have been really fun to like kind of do because they make them all personal. Anyway, Cody, thank you, man, for being here again.
Of course.
Listen, you and I have been doing like this like for a long time. I think I've known you now for like almost 10 years. Isn't that crazy? At least,
dude, that is actually pretty wild. Because I mean, yes, it was because it was before my first kid. I know that.
2018,
and she is 9.
Think about it. So yeah. we've been locked in doing this. So I always appreciate you being on. This is fun as always. And to everyone listening, thank you. Also thank you because again, like you've given me some great feedback on the podcast as like a whole, and I really the fact that you listen to it regularly kind of like cements my goal or my sort of like idea here, because this is meant for people like us who either don't like a lot of like video game podcasts or like want something relatively like chill to listen. I hate podcasts. I really do. I hate listening to podcasts. Even though we just had a whole discussion before this about how much we love and we need podcasts.
Yep.
But the idea of a podcast is so terrible to me. I hate doing podcasts. I don't like, this is like torture at times, but I do like to talk to people about the things that I like. So this is sort of my solution. It's that very Seinfeld thing of like, what is it? Jason Alexander saying this TV show is meant for people who don't like TV. So this is sort of my thing. This is meant for people who don't like podcasts, because it's like, no, it's just conversations. So I appreciate you always, being on here, giving me feedback, and just being a good hang.
Of course, I will be here anytime you need me. Just give me that solid 2-week notice.
2 weeks.
I'll be here.
Two. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Hope you have a good night, and take care.